Nintendo didn't surprise me this year. I didn't expect anything great from the company, and therefore I'm not let down by them. They went the speed of a dying old man slowly shuffling his feet as he tried to make it across the street, and I believe that's the perfect analogy for the company. Soon your loyal fans will see what else is out there for them, and then they'll turn from you. Nintendo obviously thinks that anything they toss our way will be good enough and we'll stay and beg for more. They did mention Metroid through a cheesy looking splash screen title with some strange goofy noises in the background. Metroid Prime 4 is great and all, but at this point the fans needed to see something. DLC for The Legend of Zelda is cool, but when that's one of the very few games worth a damn for your system, I would have spent a bit more time to put together a showing for what's to come. They stated that many third-party companies were creating games for them, but they've been saying that since before the Switch released, and we still haven't seen anything new other than the Rabbids game from Ubisoft. I do have to admit that Rabbids game is intriguing. Who would have thought there'd ever be a Super Mario Tactics game like XCOM? Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was simply just a bad-looking cinema that showed us nothing of the game. The same could really be said about everything else as well. The only new games that looked somewhat interesting were the Kirby game and the Yoshi game, and both of those were tailored toward toddlers. Nintendo gets to walk away with a crown after this E3. It's just that the crown that they're going to wear on their heads is made out of the same things they've been giving us. So Nintendo, here you go. Other than a couple of games, EA's show was boring to say the least. A Way Out caught my eye, but they didn't show enough to really keep me interested after the fact. They showed off a lot of sports and racing, and they did show them off well enough to keep my eyes to the screen. It's honestly not fair for me to judge them due to the fact that I'm not really interested in any of the majority of the genres and IPs that belong to them, but I had to put them on the list. Look, I'm not into sports, and because of that, I'm just going to have to give EA second to last place on my list. But I'm going to tell you what, EA, I'm going to give you an award anyway. It's a participation award. Here you go. Ubisoft had their expected fluff tailored to extend the time and make us feel like there was more than there actually was there. I'm really excited about Far Cry 5 though, and they showed some gameplay for that, so I left satisfied for the most part. Beyond Good and Evil is a game that I've never really played, but I have heard the cries from fans as they've been waiting for a sequel for over a decade now, so I'm really happy for them. Cinematics don't really do anything for me, but I'll wait in anticipation for them to show some actual game footage. That'll probably happen next E3. Well, that's about it. At least they didn't shove terrible jokes down our throats this year. Ubisoft didn't do a great job. They didn't do a bad job. It was just underwhelming. Wasn't a whole lot there. Not a whole lot that we haven't already seen. So I'll tell you what, Ubi. Give you an award too. Here you go. Okay, so I'm biased here. Honestly, Sony's show was boring. It was mostly filled with games that we've already known about for at least a year, but the reveal of Monster Hunter World was enough for me. Game after game was shown with no mention from a FromSoft game, which is something that I was hoping for, but I didn't really care at that point. I was still pumping my fist in the air like I just do not care due to the fact that a wish I've had for a very long time came true. This to me was more exciting than the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Uncharted games are cool, but I'd take them or leave them. I haven't beat Horizon Zero Dawn yet, so the DLC didn't really blow me away. I'm actually interested in Days Gone now that I've seen more gameplay. Only briefly played the original Shadow of Colossus. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite looked like a Saturday morning cartoon that airs after the good ones go off. Call of Duty World War II looked exactly like I had expected it to. God of War 3 just seemed to come out already. I'm actually less interested in Detroit Become Human than I was before. They didn't show enough of Destiny 2, and what they did show caused me to care a bit less. I don't have a VR, so a large chunk was lost on me. Overall, everything they showed at the conference was subpar or something that I've already seen. Except Monster Hunter. Sony, if it wasn't for that one announcement that you made, and you know which one I'm talking about, yeah, Monster Hunter, I would absolutely throw you under the bus. You were boring, you were bland, you gave us nothing but games that we already knew about for the most part. It was just a bad show. But I want to give you an award anyway, because you're Sony, and I love you. Bethesda's show wasn't that great. We didn't see anything we didn't already know about or hadn't already predicted. In my E3 predictions video, I nailed this for sure. They did exactly as I thought they would. So why is it so high on the list? I hear you asking your computer screen like the psycho that you are. Well, it's because they created products and stand by them for the long haul. They're still pushing Skyrim, which annoys me, but they stand by their work still. They prove that when you buy a Bethesda game, you will not be trading it in within a few weeks after beating it, but instead you'll put it up on your shelf and just wait for more content to come out. One thing about their show that has concerned me is the Creation Club. I haven't looked into more details yet, but it does seem like it's going to be like a pay for a mod at some point. They mentioned spending points, but how do you get those points? That's something that has me very worried. Steam tried this and immediately pulled away from the idea. Bethesda, please no. Bethesda, you're a great company. It's just you keep the same games going over and over again. I don't know why you're hosting E3 conferences now when you don't have anything really new to show. But whatever, I'm going to give you an award because you earned one. You got second place. Here you go. Here it is, number 1. Microsoft didn't just meet my predictions, they blew them away. I now want an Xbox more than ever, and it's all because of their show. I'm not going to break their show down in this video. That would take entirely too long, but that's a good thing. They threw game after game at us and reassured us that every game would be playable on any of the Xbox One consoles. From crossplay to some of the best looking exclusive games that I have ever seen, they set the standard that no other company managed to even get close to matching. I think they have convinced me to switch over to their side. I'll wait and see what changes. Sony has announced big changes to the PlayStation Plus membership, which will be nice. I don't think it'll be enough though. So I hereby crown Microsoft the king of E3 2017. You've earned it, keep it up, and make those promises stay true. I'd talk more about Microsoft in this video, but I've already made a video discussing their marketing plans and how I think they're heading in the right direction. Check it out over here right after you hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a like. This E3 would have been kind of a letdown if it wasn't for Microsoft's show. They single-handedly pulled this one off. Thanks for sticking with the video until the end and have a great day.